trying to learn today, your learning target, if you want to start with that on your notes here, we're going to make a scatter plot and a regression line. Okay.
What about you? I don't have to watch it. I watched some, but I didn't watch it. Yeah.
I'll go smoother eventually. All right, we're making a scatter plot and a regression line. What do you think, guys? Anybody else coming through the door today? Yeah, you can sit there. I don't know why they left the yellow paper, but you can sit there. So. All right. So we are going to start with this first example here. We're going to try to make a scatter plot, and then we're going to plot that on our graph. So let's go through some steps. I'm going to open up my TI-85 up here, or TI-84 for you guys, and then we'll walk through the steps together, and then we'll jot down what those steps were. So get out your calculator. If you didn't bring one today, find someone who has one and work together. How many of you don't have a calculator? Okay, well, all right, partner up. You'll make it work today. Do you guys all have them, just not here? Yeah, okay. Okay, I heard you go to stat. That is excellent. You do go to stat. We have to put in our little lists here. Which one of these do you think is going to be the X, and which one do you think is going to be the Y?
X is the hundreds.
Try again.
X is the thousands.
Yeah, X is the time, that's the years, and then Y is, we're looking at in millions of people, private sector employees in the United States. Okay, so get our X, we've got our Y. All right, so our steps here. So you go to stat. Okay, you pick edit. And then list one, you are putting all of your X values. So I'm putting 2,000. You guys should be faster than me since I have to do it up here. All the way through 2009, right? Get there eventually. Once you get your first list in, what are you going to put in list 2? your y values. Good. You guys like way ahead of me already. Okay, everybody home in? You guys are there way before me. All right, how do we see a scatter plot? Where do I have to go on my calculator now? Anybody remember? Mode? No, good guess. What you have to do is go to your stat plot. So you're going to push second and then y equals. And it takes you to the screen here, the stat plot. See how my first plot says off? Okay, that means it's not going to graph any sort of scatter plot for me. So we need to go in and we need to change that to on. So go ahead and select it, push enter. Okay. Then you want to highlight on. Okay. All right, let's go to our graph. It's not going to look right, but I want to see if you guys know how to fix it. Okay, does that look like a scatter plot? No. Couple things going wrong here. First, clearly my window's not right. Okay, because I had numbers in the 2000s, and this looks like maybe a 4x4. That's not going to work. And I also have this line going on. What is that? Not the wrong mode, but I do have another equation in there. So if I just go to my y equals, see how I have this equation? I don't want that there because it's graphing that. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. Okay. All right, now your window, there's a couple ways you can think about doing this. You can do it by hand since you know your data values. Later we'll also use one of the zoom features. So if you think about it, your x's, what was your smallest x?
2000.
2000, and your biggest x?
2009.
Okay, so you need something that's going to capture all of those. So you might even go like 1995. I can find my mouse. Okay. So 1195 for my minimum. Maximum maybe like 2015, just to give yourself a little buffer there. The scale, that just means what we're counting by, so 1 is fine. But then what about your y's? Is -10 to 10 going to work? No. What do you want to go from? Looks like your lowest is what, 108? So where do you want to be? 115 is your biggest. So what do you want on the small end of things? 105 sounds great. And then your biggest is 115, so maybe give yourself to like 120 just so you can see everything. Okay. And I screwed up my X. That's gonna help. About 1995. So then when you go to your graph, you can see it a little better, right? Okay. Is everybody getting this graph?
Yes.
Wait, do all three of you not have calculators? you can stay up here and share with Kelly. Do you want to find someone to sit with during this? Just find anybody with a calculator. Julia, you too, if you want to just move over. Okay, you guys are already sharing. So Kelly, can you share with multiple people? Okay. All right, so those of you that have a calculator, are we there? Yes? Okay, so let's go back to your notes. And let's jot down all of those directions that we just went through on our calculator. So the first thing we did was we went to stat. Where'd we go from there? Edit. Good. What did we put in our list one? X values, which for us this time were our t values, right? What do we put in list two? Yeah, which for this was the e's. Okay, that's where we started.
You have to make sure that y is empty.
Yep. So clear your y, and then what did we have to turn on? Stat plot. Yeah, we got there by doing second, and then your y equals, which is the same as stat plot. Turn plot on. Now guys, this may mess with you in other classes. I don't know what science classes you guys are taking. If you screw up your list and it won't graph for you, it's probably something to do with your stat plot, so you can always turn it off if you need to for another class, and then turn it back on again in here. Okay? So if you just leave it like this, it's fine to have it on. Your scatter plot will show up along with anything else you try to graph, unless you either clear your list or turn the plot off. Okay. And you'll definitely have to change your window for other classes too. All right. Then we just picked a window that would fit our data. So let's talk about if we actually wanted to sketch this, couple of things that we would need to have. You have to label each axis. With a title. You have to use an appropriate scale. And you have to give an overall title for the graph, so title the graph. All right, so let's try to draw this one. All right, so what are you going to label each axis? What's the x-axis going to be? Years,
Time.
probably. Yeah, it's time, so we'll do time in years. What about your y-axis?
Workers, private sector employees.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of wordy, but yeah, you want to make sure you have all that in there. Private sector employees, and you could say in the U.S. And that's going to be very similar to the overall title of the whole graph. What's the overall title of your whole graph going to be? what are we graphing? What are we even looking for?
Private sector employees change every year.
Yeah, so you can just say, it's given to you in the problem. You can say private sector employees in the US from 2000 to 2009. Like that's it. Because that's all we're going to graph for those years. So let's think about the scale and what we want to actually label on the x-axis. Do any of you want a number all the way from 1 to 2009 on your x-axis? Maybe it's the board. No, we're not going to do that. Think about the window that you used on your calculator. So what did we use for our axis?
2005 or 1995.
2015. So you can, do you remember like showing that weird little like squiggle that, hey, we're skipping a whole bunch of things and then we're going to start numbering? That's what I would do. Okay. And so then just start from there. When did we go to 2015? You have the choice to, you could label each one, you could do 1996, or you could do like 5.2s, it's up to you. However you want to make the label that makes sense. I might mark all of them and then only label every other one. And then vertically, same idea. What do you think we want to use as our labels here? I'm not starting at 1. Where should I start? What'd you guys do on your scatter plot?
105.
Is that where we started? I don't remember. Yeah, because we were below that. So 105. And what did we go to? We could go to 120 if we wanted to. I'm going to just label every other just so it'll fit. And then guys, go ahead and plot your dots on there. And hopefully your graph will look just like what you have on your calculator. hopefully yours is a little prettier than mine. You write better on paper. There, so easy so far, right? We can make a scatter plot. Okay, so let's turn the page. So now we're going to try to make a model that goes with our scatter plot. So when you're trying to make one from actual data, you want it to be accurate, but you also don't want it to be so complicated that it's not useful. So what we're looking for here, we want it to be accurate and simple. Some of the different types of models you can have are linear, quadratic, cubic, polynomial, square root, absolute value, and rational. So guys, any type of graph that you've ever graphed, you can make a model out of that. Okay? Anybody remember what we want to be close to 1 when we check whether or not a model is a good fit? Remember your R squared value? So if your R squared is close to 1, that means the data points are not very far away from this line of best fit you just created. If your R squared is far away from 1, it's close to 0, it's a terrible thing. Okay? So you want things close to 1. All right, so let's try again. So I'm giving you a table here. We're looking at the annual average crude oil production as far as barrels per day. I want you to get these values entered into your list. Instead of 2009, though, they tell us to just use a 9. So you're looking at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, again, your time is going to be your X. And then your barrels is going to be your Y. Let's see if... So do we remember where to go? Stat. What do we pick? Edit. Okay, now to get all these numbers out of here, arrow up so list 2 is highlighted, but just push clear, okay? And then enter. Do not ever push delete because then you delete your whole thing and it's gone. So just clear the values, okay? So list 1, we're doing 9. All right, everybody good with your data values? Okay, now I'm actually asking you to find the quadratic model that fits this data. So, and we'll write the steps down again in a minute. We're going to go to Stat, arrow over to Calc, because we're going to calculate something. And then which of these do you think I'm going to pick?
Quadratic.
Yep. Okay. So, list 1, good. List 2, good. Frequency list, you don't need that right now. That would be if you had like some sort of list where it was like, you know, your x is 10 and it happens 10 times, and then your x is 11 and that one happens 7 times. So like things that, values that get repeated, you guys don't have to worry about that right now. You do want to store your regression equation though. So go to store regression equation. We're going to push vars. Then arrow over to y bars, function, and y1. What that's doing for you is taking the whole equation and storing it in your y equals so that you don't have to write it down, go to your y equals, type it in, and then have it there to graph. It just puts the entire thing with no rounding into your y equals. Okay? So then go ahead and calculate. This. How many of you have an r squared showing up below that? Yes? Okay, we all want that. So we have to go ahead and figure out how to turn that on. So what we're going to do is go to your catalog. So guys, 2nd and 0. Everybody see catalog? Okay. We want diagnostic on. That's what's going to help us figure out how well it fits. You can just keep arrowing, or you can push a D, and that takes you down to the D's at least. You just arrow all the way down to diagnostic on. Push enter. Push enter. Okay. And so now if we want that r squared value, we got to go ahead and calculate our regression again. So good practice for you here. Go to Stat. Arrow over to Calc, quadratic regression, list 1, list 2, we don't care, and where to store regression equation. How do I do that? Vars, and good, enter, enter. Okay, good. All right, so now we have the r squared value of 0.99243. What do you think? Is that pretty close to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that means this is a very good fit for our scatter plot. So what you're going to do is actually write down your equation now, your 0.167x squared minus 3.155x plus 20.232. Okay, does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
So this goes there. All right, so I'll go back to my note sheet. I'm sorry, what? No, what did you ask? I just seen it. Okay. So we've got our equation, 0.167x squared minus 3.155x plus 20.232. And our r squared was 0.99. All right, so let's jot down these directions so you have them to reference back to. So it starts the same way. Stat, edit. You've got your L1, which is your x values, and your L2, which is your y values. These steps will be very stuck in your head after this. All right, then we go back to stat. Pick calc. From the calc menu, we picked quadratic regression. And then for store regression, remember it was bars, y bars, over here, in case those of you who didn't have your calculator today, just so you can have the diagnostic, you need to go.
This is function one.
Yep, so you picked function and then y1 from there. So after you're in the y bars, you basically just push enter and then enter. So you need to go to your catalog, which was what, second and then 0? Is that the key? I think it has catalog above it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Second, 0, get to catalog. Pick diagnostic on. Enter and enter. Okay. That's if you didn't have your calculator in here today and you need to get your r squared value. We're going to use our model to try to fill in this third row of our table here. Because we have the actual data, we want to see what the model tells us the data would have been. So we're going to use our list or our table function for that. So the way you get there is second graph. And this is picking your table. Now let me show you a couple things with that. Okay, so I'm seeing x values 3.14, 3.24, 3.34. I need to get to 9. It's going to take me a while to arrow all the way to 9, right? And do I really care about any of the decimals? Like, I don't want 9.1 and 9.2, do I? Okay, so we can change all of this. We're going to go to our table set. So look at your window key. Do you see how above it right there it says table set? So we're going to do second table set. Asking you, where do you want your table to start? Well, I think we'd like to start at 9, right? So just type a 9 in there. And then the little triangle in front of TBL, that's delta table. The delta always just means change in your table. So like, what do you want to count by? So what's the next number we want after 9? 10. So what are we going by? 1. So put a 1 in. Hit enter, and then go back to your table. Is that a little more helpful? Everybody there? Okay, so fill in the third row of your chart here. Okay, because we needed a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so John, go, yeah. This was not a very helpful table. Okay. you have the old one. You didn't have those bars. That's what I was showing you, the bars.
It's due, so we have a black day, it's due next Monday, so we don't have to do anything. And then take a first week it's nice. Usually just
We'll keep practicing it. You do not have anything stored. So. Okay, does that help? All right, anybody else? Calculator troubles? Done. All right, so let's fill it in. Did we get 5.37 for the first one?
Yes.
Yes. What about for 10? What do we get?
5.39.
Okay, 11. Okay. For 12?
6.44.
And for 13.
7.46.
Okay. So guys, this just shows you, is your model a perfect fit for this? No, but it's very, very close. Okay? Then I'm asking you to use your model to estimate the crude oil production for 2014. So we're going to extrapolate now. So what do you think? What does it give you when you look at 14?
8.82.
So we are looking at our table again. So it's 8.82. What? Million barrels? That's a lot of barrels. We aren't going to look up the actual one right now, but you should already done that. Questions so far? And just to show you how nice of a fit this one was, I'm going to go zoom, and I'm going to pick number 9, which is zoom stat. So there's my scatter plot, and there's my regression line going right through it. Okay, pretty good fit. All right, let's turn the page. All right, so again, we have some data here. We've got the number E and thousands of people as employees on the consumer lending industry. And then our years, 2005 to 2013. Okay, so T is the year. That again is going to be our X value. E is going to be employees. That's your Y. All right. I want you to try to enter the data. I want you to, if we need to, we'll write down the directions again. You're going to try to find your line of best fit, like which regression model do you think would be the best fit for it, okay? So make your scatter plot and then see which regression you think is a good fit. So I'll give you a little bit of time here to try to get your scatter plot done. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Make a sketch of your graph there. I know it says paste graph here. We could be doing this in Excel and you can print your graph from there too, but we're doing just the calculator today, so.
It's just like, this one would probably be close to.
It's not right, right?
All right, are you getting a scatter plot that looks like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a good start. Anybody not getting the scatter plot? And guys, again, the window you can key in manually what it should be, or I honestly just did Zoom 9 again, Zoom Stat, because it fits it well for whatever you're doing statistically. What does it look like? Okay, is it linear? Probably not. What about quadratic? No. Cubic? I think it's cubic, yeah. So let's look. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate. Maybe. Let's check our R² value on our cubic, okay? Cubic, yeah. Okay, so let's make sure everybody's storing the regression equation. Where do I go? Bars.
Y bars.
Y bars. Maybe
Function.
function.
Y.
Okay. So let's look at it. R² of 0.97, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and you can see my little picture there. See how it fits my scatter plot pretty nicely? Okay, so that's the one you would want to go with. I don't have anywhere for you, like I'm not asking you questions about the equation of best fit here. just, I want to make sure you guys understand, like, you can have a pretty good idea by looking at your scatter plot and then check it to make sure the R-squared makes sense. Okay? Don't just blindly guessing. If you're like an Algebra 2, and they have you just go through each one until you found an R-squared that was the highest. Do you remember those calculator days? Yes. You could actually think through this a little bit and save yourself a little bit of time.
You don't have to.
Well, you could just do that. Yeah, it's true. All right. So just let's fill in one blank here. Your scatter plot and then your regression line, guys, that's just called a line of best fit. Which makes sense. It's the line that best fits your data. We're not going to write the directions again because there's nothing new that we've done. Okay, you've got all the directions written down so far. And I know some of you have started on your scatter plot drawing. That is wonderful. We're going to finish the notes though, so pause where you are in your graph and let's look at that. It's calling you dim. Doesn't it say that? Yeah, you should borderline text. Yeah, if you completely reset your memory, then it's too That's the only way that I've done. There's got to be another way, but that's the quickest way. Guys, so let's go ahead and start on the annual sales for the Dollar Tree store. So I want you to key in your data. It's telling you to use 6 instead of 2006 this time. You're going to create your scatter plot, find your model, use your regression equation to fill in the third chart, and then predict your sales in 2014, okay? So go ahead and get started. Like I did. Yeah, of course, Jim.
No.
Thank you. Okay, remember, look at your scatter plot first. Is that what your scatter plot's looking like? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For the for the sales, the
Mm-hmm.
list, like, what would you say to tell them
What would you say to what?
to put like to turn
Oh.
because it's like kind of all over the place.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have this. You're definitely gonna be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like where to start. Okay. Maybe
It's actually supposed to be.
that's all we care about, right?
I'll answer questions, but. Posted, you're not over there, yeah. No, it's not really. No. And then we have discussion. Now that this thing, we were gonna change. Later in the year.
How we doing, guys?
Done.
Done with all of it? How is it that you had a calculator that you were trying to use every day last year? Now today I'm like, use your calculator.
No. Was my turkey chicken?
It was. Yeah.
So this is where's my trust?
Yeah, so I just snagged it. Looks like. But it just is only the ones first. Not really. Yeah, you had some projects, there's a lot more construction. It's like flying, all this is first applications. Yeah, no, it's fine.
What's the apply meaning? Basically,
So like applications, so you're gonna understand like how this concept works in.
that's not like a video.
And the first ones we do are pretty basic, because you aren't really very much you know, so. I did all the steps done, so I could do the other because not only does that create your table, and also let's fill in the third row just to make sure you guys have the right model going on. So for 2006, what'd you get for your model value? Sorry, what? 3.66. Everyone in agreement? Yeah, okay. What about for 2007? 4.25. I'm trusting you, Kelly. What's next? 4.84. 2009. 5.43. Okay, 2010. And 2011. 2012. And the last one. Okay, does everybody agree with Kelly? Good. Did you have 4.34? Nope. Okay, what'd you guys have? Let's see. Go ahead and read me yours. I'm just curious.
3.7.
Okay. 4.2 what?
8.
Is this what everyone's thinking?
Oh my God.
Uh-oh. Kelly, I'm going to do your list. Did you get that 3.87, 4.28? So let's try again. You guys read them to me once again. Okay, wait. 3.87, 4.28. Okay.
4.75,
Okay.
5.29,
Okay.
5.87, 6.52, 7.23,
7.99. Okay. Is that better, guys?
Yes.
Okay. What was your R squared value for this model? Oh, the R squared, sorry. You were doing your
I was doing the first one.
0.9939.
Yes.
And then predicting for 2014, yeah, what'd you say?
8.82.
Okay, so 8.8. Okay. You should fill out your scatter plot, label your X and Y axis, practice that because you are going to have to do that on the quiz. But I'm going to go ahead and pass out the homework. Are we feeling okay with that? Okay. Let's stop our recording. Hold on, let me pull that up because I don't